Video, I'm going to show you how to install and run a simple example of boolean solver, a package on Python to solve boolean expressions without any effort. So first we're going to the terminal of our computers. We'll execute this command, sudo pip install boolean solver. We'll hit enter and voila, it's now installed. Maybe it asks you for the computer password. Just enter it. So now we're going to PyCharm. We're going to create a new project. We're going to call our project sample1. Our framework would be Python 2.7. We'll hit create. Now in here we'll add a new Python file called start. So on this file we'll define a mock function. It's called, but first we'll import the library. It's called like this. We'll name it S. So basically we are going to import module S from boolean solver, module solver, and we'll call it S. So first we are going to define a method. Our method will be called and function. So and function will have two inputs, A and B. It's going to be a mock function. This is a mock function. And it's going to return for now just a false value by default. We'll define here a decorator on top of it called solve boolean with parentheses at the end. So our goal is to find this value so that this function is effectively a AND. So the answer should be something like this, right? But let's make ourselves like we are stupid. We actually don't know the answer. So put here false. Now we're going to have a test file for us. It's going to be called test. So on this file, I'll import unit test. I'll also import start because I'm going to test start file, and I'm going to import again my boolean solver library. Boolean solver, import solver. Call it as well as here. So I'll call it as well. I'm going to define a class called my test, and within here I'll have unit test test case. I'll have a test case here. So my first method should start with a test word followed by and function. I'll test the and function, but as well defined it. So I'll need a truth table. So from like algebra, I'll remember that the truth table of the AND function has one true value. So actually it's something like 0. If it's 0 and 0, it'll give 0. If it's 0 and 1, it'll give 0. If it's 1 and 0, it'll give 0. And finally, if it's 1 and 1, it'll give 1. So this is like for remembering. We only need to specify true values. So true values would be this last case. So I'll have a dictionary, or a set, rather a set, uh, specifying those. So I'll have a row represented by a tuple. This tuple is represented by these parentheses, and within those parentheses I'll have another tuple that represents inputs. So here on the outside of the first tuple, I'll have like the output, and of course it's going to be true because this one would be this one here, and the two inputs would be this one and this one, of course, right? Like these three ones would be these three truths. So here, video. So here I'll have like the first input that's called a in our function. This would be the second input, and this would be the output, the return, or output. So then I'll solve the puzzle by having three arguments. First, the test itself, then the function, and then the truth table. So finally, I'll execute my test. So to execute, right click on it and run unit test. Hopefully it works. So I'm going back to the function, and voila, I have the A and B. So in this way I could specify any other function, for example a XOR, but it's a little bit more difficult. XOR has this truth table, so I'll need to specify two rows of the truth table, something like this and this. So I'll run the test again and see what happens. So there you have it. This is the definition of a XOR. It's A and not B, or not A and B. So I hope this helps you a lot with the library. Thanks.